Hello, everyone, and we're here today to record our new episode of Chat's new activity that is called Ads and Gangs. In this interviews, we are talking to different affiliate marketing industry professionals who share their experience with us. My name is Anastasia Kazakova. I'm Chief Commercial Officer at Chat's advertising platform, and today we will be talking with Luke Kling, one of the most well-known affiliate marketers and founder of the affLIFT forum. So Luke has an experience for more than 20 years in affiliate marketing, and as I know, he has started to do this stuff from 15 years old. So stay tuned and watch this video till the end, and I'm sure you will have lots of insights and interesting details. So let's talk about the journey, your journey, Luke, in affiliate marketing and how you started with affLIFT forum and how is it going right now. And what's more is that Luke gave us some professional advice that will be included in our Rechats ebook, and you will find it in the description, so you can check it out and see what advices are there. So let's begin, but first let's start with some introduction from you, Luke. Thank you so much for joining us today, and just in general, how are you today, and how are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a great day. I like Wednesdays.
As I learned before, it's your only full day for yourself, right? Full morning for
Right.
yourself.
Yeah. I have two kids, and they're both in school on Wednesday. And then my wife is a stay-at-home mom, but she has pottery today, so I have the whole morning to myself. And it's the one day of the week where I can sit at home and get my work done
Sounds really good, but
uninterrupted.
you're still working, so yeah. So this is not fully an off day. Okay, I know that you have lots of roles in your life. You're an affiliate marketer, and you're also an owner of the forum, and perhaps something more. Which role is your favorite one?
I think my favorite professional role is definitely what I do on affLIFT. I have, like you mentioned, I have a few projects that I work on. I have a social media marketing company that I own, that I've owned for a long time now. But I think like my favorite, and this isn't just because this is an affiliate audience that I'm talking to. I think my favorite part of my day is definitely working on affLIFT. It takes up the biggest chunk of my day, but it's also probably the thing I enjoy the most. Is just going through the forum, and every single day I go through all of the threads. Well, I shouldn't say every single day. Pretty much every single day. If not every single day, then every other day. I go through every post on affLIFT and make sure that I've at least seen and addressed any questions that are on the forum. But I also enjoy reading it, so that's why I do it. But yeah, I think my favorite professional role is definitely what I do on affLIFT. Is both a community leader and like the business owner. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I'm responsible for, besides what you see on affLIFT. And so I really enjoy that. It's been an interesting challenge running that business because I had never really done it before. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then personally, I enjoy my kids and being a dad and all that stuff.
So that's a lot of roles that you have, lots of jobs and the personal life. So yeah, sounds really interesting. And just let's go into this. And just wanted to mention that our top talk will be divided into two parts. So first, we will talk about you as an affiliate marketer, and the other part will be dedicated to the affiliate. So let's start with the affiliate marketing part. And I know that you have started running your own campaigns probably since you were in the high school. Can you tell us how did it happen? How did you came to this specific field of work, and who introduced you to the affiliate marketing?
Sure. Yeah. Before I even got to high school, I got interested in building websites. So that's kind of what sparked it all. Is I just thought it was really cool that you could build something, publish it, and then anyone in the world could see it. So I got my start originally building websites and learning how to program and just learning how to publish online. And my start in the affiliate industry was actually kind of an accident. I built this website, and I would sell sites on this forum called Digital Point. So I'd build these little websites and I'd sell them, and that's how I made money when I was young, when I was like 13, 14, 15. And so I built this site and sold it on Digital Point, and the guy that bought it just happened to own an affiliate network. He was building a portfolio of websites. My website was getting a decent amount of traffic, and apparently he thought it was worth the investment, so he bought it. And he and I worked together on the site. He hired me to kind of manage that site, and then a few other websites that he had bought with his portfolio he was building. And we worked on that project for a while, and eventually he was just like, hey, would you be interested in working for me on the affiliate marketing side? And I had not really delved too much in affiliate marketing at that time. I was monetizing my websites with Google AdSense and different banners and stuff like that. And really my focus was building and then selling the site. It wasn't necessarily making money. I wanted to make money on it in between because I knew it'd make the site more interesting to
Expensive.
buy.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he introduced me to affiliate marketing, and kind of I kind of was interested, but I hadn't really done too much of it. And then he decided that I might be a good affiliate manager, and offered me a job as an affiliate manager. And I was like 15 at the time, and I was like, sure. He was going to pay me a commission, and then I was getting an hourly thing for working on his websites. And I was like, okay, this is super interesting. I knew the guy had a lot of money. I knew his company was doing really well, and it seemed like a good opportunity, so I took it. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got my start. I had never even really run an affiliate marketing campaign before I was hired as an affiliate manager. I kind of learned as I went, and yeah, so that's how it all started. The guy's name's Kevin. He owned xy7.com. I don't know if it's around anymore, but I still talk to him every once in a while. He's a good guy.
Sounds great. Sounds great that you've built such a long-term relationship with him. And I just wanted to know, was it just some specific offer that you were promoting, or was it like multiple offers, verticals that you was working with since you started?
Yeah, my first campaign was it was interesting. It was a 60s music CD set. So it was like something that you would see on TV, like as seen on TV late at night or something like that. It was like a bundle of different CDs from musicians from the 60s. And we got that offer, and we were trying to get traffic on it. And I was like, well, let's see how this goes. And I set up a Google campaign and just direct link to the affiliate offer with different musician keywords and stuff from that era. And that's how I got my first sales, and that's kind of how I got my first start. I've gone into pretty much every vertical since then, but that 60s music CD set was my first campaign, and it was actually profitable too. It was profitable right away. I got lucky. I remember I set up the campaign, and then I went to dinner, and when I came back from dinner, I had already got my first sale, which was like $30 or something like that commission, and it was obviously pretty exciting.
And what traffic were you using at that point?
Tracker? I
Well,
wasn't using a
traffic. Sorry,
Oh, traffic.
I mean traffic source. Yeah.
I was gonna say back then nobody used a tracker. I was using Google Ads. I ran it on Google Ads. Yep, just a search campaign with, like I said, the keywords were pretty basic. It was like the musicians from the CD set and stuff. But it worked. I don't think you could run that today. Like you definitely couldn't direct link it like I was. But yeah, it worked back then.
Do you think it was much easier back then to earn money doing an affiliate marketing, or do you see more possibilities right now?
It's hard to say. Like everybody, in hindsight, everybody looks back, and especially the people that have been in the industry a while, and they'll say, well, it was easier back then because we could run campaigns directly on Google, or there wasn't as much competition. But at the same time, back then we didn't have the opportunities that we have now. Like the traffic sources were completely different. The offers were completely different. Like trackers. We hardly anyone used a tracker back then. There was no like attribution tracking or anything like that. So it's hard to say. I mean, things were a little easier then because there was less competition, and because the restrictions on the traffic sources weren't as complicated as they are now. But at the same time, like I said, there weren't as many opportunities, so you were kind of limited on what you could do. Uh, the industry also back then was super young. It was, I was young when I was doing it, but most of the people that were doing it were, maybe a little older than me. It was a very young and immature industry then, and I think we've kind of grown since then, which again has created more opportunities, and there's a lot more money in it. But running a campaign today might be a little, little bit more complicated than back then.
Yeah, I guess it's also depending on the traffic that you're using. It's definitely much more complicated right now on Google than it was before, but with different sources, yes, there wasn't so much opportunities for different formats as it is today.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. And I know that you are still running your campaigns, right?
Yeah, I run affiliate campaigns all the time. I have pretty much since I started. There's been times where I didn't run as much, especially in college, because I didn't have any money, and yeah, so there's been gaps, but pretty much since I started, I've been on and off running affiliate campaigns. After I was hired as an affiliate manager, I ran affiliate campaigns just to learn, and it's kind of always been my motto. Like, I think affiliate managers should run campaigns. I know some affiliates, aren't super fond of that idea because they think that the manager is going to run, their campaign. They're going to steal the affiliate's campaign or something like that. But I personally, I think, like, if you're going to try to be able to help somebody with something like affiliate marketing, especially something as complicated as affiliate marketing, then you're going to have experience with it. So I've run campaigns my entire time. I was an affiliate manager for like 15 years total, maybe, and pretty much that entire time I ran campaigns. And when I got promoted and had affiliate managers that worked under me, I made them run campaigns too. So yeah, I've never stolen affiliates campaign. Like, that's not the goal with with most of the time, if you have an affiliate manager who wants the best for the affiliate network that they work with or work for, I'm sorry, then they're not going to steal an affiliate campaign, because that's the opposite of you're ruining relationships, where our
Oh,
industry is
yeah.
all about relationships. Like, I have a pretty good reputation in the industry because I've been transparent and honest, and I have no interest in running somebody else's campaign. Like, for one, you're probably not going to have the success that the other person had to begin with. So yeah, I
Okay,
still run campaigns.
so at the beginning, it was more about the experience as you needed to know what you're exactly recommending, right?
Right.
And if we're talking about right now, is it still for the experience, or do you have, I don't know, some particular part of the income coming from running different campaigns, or is it not related to the topic of money at all?
It's a mix. Like, I don't depend on my campaigns to make money. Like, obviously, it's nice when they do, but I'm in the unique position as an affiliate and a business owner where, like, I benefit from running campaigns whether they're profitable or not. Like, I want all my campaigns to be profitable, like any other affiliate. Like, it's discouraging when you work on something and focus on something and it doesn't make money. But it's not necessary. So I run campaigns to make money. I hope they make money, and it's beneficial if they do. But my goal is still, most of the time, is still education. Like, I have affLIFT, so, like, I'm trying to test new traffic sources before the members do, so that I can provide help, guidance, feedback, that type of thing. So, like, a good example is when you guys introduced the CPA target stuff on Rich Ads. Like, I immediately tested that so that I could say, okay, like, this is what I'm doing, this is what worked, this is what didn't work, and that type of thing. So yeah, my campaigns today, it's not the same as when I was, especially when I was, like, in college, where, like, I was very focused, and this needed to be profitable, or I was going to have a hard time making my rent. Now it's like, I want them to be profitable. I put a bigger budget into my campaigns than I ever could before. But it's not necessarily like, if this goes bad, then my kids aren't going to be able to eat. So it's a little different. And I personally, like, as an affiliate, like, I think, the full-time, being a full-time affiliate would be amazing. Like, it's a great thing. I know a lot of full-time affiliates like that. That's what they do. But it's also stressful, because we all know this industry can change like that. And in that case, like, you don't want to put yourself in a financial situation where you need the campaign to perform, or something bad's going to happen. So me personally, like I've always had a job while I was running campaigns. I've never been a full-time affiliate where I didn't have another source of income.
Mm, that's really clever of you. And if we're talking about like really good times where you were making like a whole bunch of money out of it, do you remember the biggest profit that you had for your work as an affiliate?
Yeah, this is something that comes up a lot. I get asked on the forum and stuff like that because I have been in the industry so long. So, I've had a lot of big wins and I've had a lot of terrible losses. Um, my favorite story as far as big wins goes was kind of a big win, but at the same time, it was kind of not. So I was running this campaign on a pop traffic source where originally I was getting paid a CPA. So I was getting every single lead I generated, I was getting like $125 or something like that. Like it was a fairly large CPA. It was a somewhat complicated offer. And we got an agreement. This is probably like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. We got an agreement with the advertiser that they would pay a rev share. So like a lot of affiliates love CPA, a lot of them love rev share. I'm kind of in the middle. I like both ways. But in this case, I was like, okay, let's test it. Like I knew that the commission could be really high on a good conversion. And anyway, I generated this lead that was worth $500,000, and I was supposed to get paid a rev share on it. And unfortunately, the advertiser decided that no, that lead was actually just going to be a CPA. So I got paid $125 for a $500,000 lead, and it was really disappointing. It was one of those things like it's a great story now, but at the time I was like, this could not be worse.
Did you
And
try to somehow like get this money, I don't know, to prove some point? Was it a battle between you?
it was a battle between me, the biz dev team on the affiliate network side, and then the advertiser, like their whole team. We battled it out. We tried to get them to try to meet us in the middle. There was a lot we tried to do. It was also a relationship that we couldn't just like burn the bridge. We couldn't say, okay, we're never going to work with you again because you screwed Luke. We had a lot of business going on, so it was more like I knew when it happened I was going to have to eat it. Like it was just I wanted to fight it a little bit, but I knew it was a case where it wasn't going to be, where I could draw the line in the sand. It was like,
Mm.
well, we can push it, but if it doesn't work out, I'm getting the $125. So, and that's what happened. So yeah, that was a bummer. That was probably like, that was definitely one of my bigger leads ever, and it was a big loss too at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds really terrible, really terrible.
If you've been in this industry long enough, you're going to have something like that happen.
Yeah,
Like,
I think yes. Everyone had a story like this, but I mean, it all depending on the budgets, of course. Not such a big clients, but I know that lots of people have a stories where they got kicked out of the offer that they bring the leads for, or I don't know, never get the payment, or some
mm-hmm.
kind of communication breaks. Yeah, so that happens a lot
non-pay
in this industry.
non-payment and fraud are like two of the worst possible things in this industry, and it's come a long way, believe it or not. Like the over the years it has definitely come a long way compared to the early days where you just didn't know. When I've worked for multiple affiliate networks now, and I've seen cases where we've had to eat like $200,000 that we paid to the affiliate that we never got paid. So it can be bad. I've luckily never been in a situation where like I overextended myself and took a massive loss. In most cases, I'm a pretty conservative person, especially financially. So I don't typically take a giant risk unless I know that there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to get paid. But there's definitely been I've known affiliates have I've had known affiliates that have had days that you wouldn't even believe the amount of money they made, and I've also known affiliates that have bombed and lost a ton of money. So it's one of those things in this industry where you got to do your best to protect yourself, but there's a lot of money riding most of the time.
Yeah, that's totally true. And I know that you've been a fan of pop traffic for a long period of time. And what is your favorite traffic source right now? And I don't know, traffic format, I guess. And do you
Yeah,
still believe in the power of pops? And are you still a big fan?
yeah, it's wild. Like when I worked for PeerFly, and I was running campaigns all the time, and I've run pops for a long time. Like a long time, like over 10 years for sure. And I like the format because it's very simple. There's it's a pop-up. It's been around forever, but it's not complicated how the user engages with a pop-up. So yeah, I love pops. I got my I became like an authority in the pop space on accident. Like I wrote an article on my blog reviewing like the top pop-up traffic sources in like probably 2013 2014, and I just kind of became an authority because of that. And then when I launched affLIFT, we focused a lot on pops. A lot of my publishers back in the day promoted pops, so it's always kind of been it's always been there, and I think it always will be. I don't ever see pops going away. Like as an ad format, I think it's going to be an opportunity for affiliates. And I really like pop-ups as a learning tool for affiliates. So when you're first getting started, you may not have like a $10,000 budget. You can run a pop campaign with 10, 50, $100. Like it doesn't take a lot to collect quite a bit of data because it's cheap. So I still like pops as a format. These days, I like probably push notifications a little more. Most of my campaigns are push campaigns. And we've seen that on affLIFT too. Like a lot of the affiliates that were running pops are also running push campaigns now, just because it's a maybe a little bit more reliable as far as like once you get a push campaign profitable, you can kind of maintain that with new audiences and stuff like that. Whereas pops, it's kind of hit or miss. And then native is probably the other ad format that I'm most interested in and that I see the most potential in. But pops and push are definitely number one and number two for myself and probably 90% of the affiliates in the industry, I would guess.
Okay, and can you please tell me why are you focusing on such formats as like push and pops and not like Facebook or some other popular formats that are out there? I mean, you're talking about native, so yeah, that's kind of I can relate. But why not Facebook, for example?
Yeah, Facebook. So I have a hit and miss relationship with Facebook. I like it as a platform, but as an ad platform, it's effective, but it's not really affiliate friendly, and that's probably the biggest hurdle that I see today with affiliates that want to run on Facebook. Like it seems like guys get in the industry, they get started, and they're like, "Oh, Facebook! Like I should run ads on Facebook," and then they get their account banned, and they're complaining about getting their account banned. Um, it's there's a big hurdle with Facebook, whereas they're not as affiliate friendly as they used to be. When I was in college, you could run an affiliate campaign on Facebook pretty easily, but today, it's just not that way. You can run big brand campaigns and stuff like that, but not your typical affiliate campaign. So I try to stay away from it. It's gotten more expensive too, whereas I mean, most ad formats are getting more expensive as time goes on with inflation and competition, but I would say Facebook is in the realm now where it's like most offers, it's going to be too expensive, especially in tier one countries. And either way, you're probably going to have to deal with creating new accounts constantly and stuff like that. And it's not my cup of tea. I know affiliates that do it, but for the most part, I recommend more affiliate friendly traffic sources and ad formats.
So it's just easier, less expensive, and like more ways for you to profit than spending a lot of time and effort on the accounts and on the cost of the traffic. So this is the reason, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, I've run social traffic in the past and it can work, but these days it's not as it's not that it's not effective, but it's just too much of a headache in my opinion.
And what verticals are you working with right now?
In regular affiliate space,
Yeah.
I like dating, so I've promoted dating offers for probably, I mean, at least since probably 2012, I would say. Um, I when I had my old blog, I blogged around a lot about promoting dating offers, and now I do it on affLIFT. Um, Dating is one of those verticals it's been around forever. It's not going to go anywhere, even with Tinder and stuff like that. Like typical online dating is not going anywhere. There's a lot of different offers in the dating vertical, and you can go mainstream or you can go adult. There's a lot of wiggle room there.
What do you
And
prefer?
I prefer mainstream, but I'm not opposed to promoting adult. But I've had my most success with mainstream, And so that's kind of always been my thing. If you get somebody on a mainstream site, typically you can also promote adult to them. But as far as the traffic sources go that I like to work with too, a lot of them are geared more towards mainstream with opportunities in adult. So like push traffic and pop traffic works pretty well with dating, especially push. And like I said, there's a lot of different offers that you can promote in that vertical. I'm not set on just running dating. Like I run other verticals as well. But I would say, over the past couple of years, dating has definitely been my my focus. It's been the majority of my campaigns have been dating campaigns.
And have you tried an in-page format for dating? And we see that in our platform, it's working really great, specifically for the dating offers.
What format? I'm sorry.
An in-page push.
Oh yes, yeah, in-page. I run both classic and in-page for dating. Actually, I have a campaign right now in Argentina that is performing better with in-page than with classic. Typically, that's reversed for me anyway. Typically, I see slightly better results with classic push notifications, but in-page can definitely work. Usually, for me, I see a higher CPC on classic than in-page, and a higher click-through rate on in-page than classic. So it kind of balances out, but typically the performance leans towards classic. But it's not always the case. It's definitely not always the case for me. Depends on the sources, obviously.
We also found that it depends on the geos as well. So for us,
Yep.
we see that if you run offers in tier 2 or tier 3 countries, it's better to go with the in-page because the cost is less per CPC, and it's just that way you have it more profitable than with classic push. But as you said, it's always about the offer and about the geo. So yeah, I totally agree
Yeah.
on that. And I know that you've been working with us for years right now, and you've tried both push and pops. And I know that you've tried almost all our optimization features. And I just wanted to ask you, what do you like better? Do you like targeting CPA or performance mode? What do you prefer?
I like the Target CPA. That's, I mean, since you guys introduced that, it's improved and gotten better, but it's definitely performed better for me than performance mode. I like the algorithms. I'm not against the algorithms. There's some affiliates that are like, the algorithms are just increasing the cost, but to me, the algorithms like that you've released and other traffic sources have released, it just makes it a little bit easier. And for me, that's definitely beneficial. It's less time consuming to optimize because it's kind of being done in the background. And also it seems like the sources within the traffic source, so like the zones and sites that you're getting the traffic from on the Target CPA side, I see higher performance from them. So yeah, it's maybe a little bit more expensive, but I'm getting a better conversion rate, a lower eCPA or whatever.
Sounds great. Sounds really great. And if we're talking about the offers that you are running right now, I know that it's dating. And which country do you run? And also, I just wanted to ask, since you have a forum, and obviously you are sharing your experience with all your community, do you specify your offers and countries for those who are newbies, or are you mainly focused on experienced users who will be able to run the campaign that newbie won't be able to put out?
So the geos that I like to run are primarily English speaking, just because that's my native language, and when I was younger, I only ran English speaking geos, just because it was the easiest thing for me. And there's plenty of opportunity in English speaking geos too, even outside the U.S. But lately I've kind of pushed into like Spanish speaking geos and other languages, focus mostly on language since, I'm using my own landing pages. I'm trying to build my own paths, and I need those to translate well. Like I've seen landing pages that were written by a non-native English speaker that they butchered it, and obviously the performance is pretty bad on those. So I like the tier 1, tier 2 English speaking geos, but I'm not afraid to go into tier 3 for other languages, other countries, other languages. And then on the Spanish speaking side, I've just done really well with dating in those regions. So that's done well for me. So as far as the forum goes, we are I'm pretty transparent about what I do. Probably too transparent sometimes. Like I'll promote or I'll post a campaign I'm running, and then next thing you know, there's 50 to 100 people running it, and you can see it in the spy tool. Like my, I'll see like the actual creative that I used. They'll use the same name, same text, same everything, and then you look at the landing pages, and they've just all ripped my landing page. So that's okay. I mean, like I said, I like to use it as more of a learning device than anything else. So if you're going to
It's
rip my
really hard
campaign,
to profit that way.
well,
It's
no,
really
it
hard to
absolutely
do.
kills the campaign. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Kills the
Like
campaign. Like
50,000 same
yeah,
campaigns and the
it's
same
it's it,
one.
it I know, and the community leaders on affLIFT know, like if you overshare a little bit, like you don't even have to overshare because people are so creative and so smart. If you share a little bit, like they're able to find it, and it's gonna get torched. Like it's gonna go up in flames because the competition's about to go through the roof. And that's okay. Like you go into it knowing that. So you go into it knowing like, okay, if this was producing a profit, like if it's a massive profit, then maybe we don't want to talk about it yet. Use it as a case study later. But if it's just a small profit, like you just have to know it like within, I don't know, a couple hours to with a day or so, it's not going to probably produce the same results anymore. And that's because on affLIFT specifically, like we have a wide range of affiliate like uh, experience level. So the newbies will come in and they'll copy it word for word, and they'll they won't profit. I won't, like that will destroy my stats. That they won't be able to profit from it. And then the more advanced guys will be like, okay, this is why it's working, and they'll replicate it, but they won't copy it completely, word for word. They'll find their own angle and use it to their advantage. Which as a newbie, it is frustrating. I know when they see it and then they're like, oh, well, I'm going to be able to do this right away and make money right away, and it never works.
Yeah, but you need to have an experience to actually put your angle on what you saw, because if you don't have an experience, if it's your first campaign, it's really hard to make even in a creative. So yeah, I
Yeah.
totally understand how they just copy and paste. I think we've all done it at the very, very
Yeah.
start, and then we
I
just learn.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge them for it. Hopefully, when I've done this and campaigns have gotten copied, like my hope is like they're going to learn something from it and they're going to be able to apply it, in the future to another campaign. And that's kind of the goal. It's like your current campaign is important, but you should use the money that you're investing into this campaign to learn so that your next campaign is going to be
Yeah.
more likely to be successful. And I think that's important.
Sure, that sounds really interesting, and thank you so much. And I think we've covered pretty much the first part, so let's move on to the affLIFT, because lots of people know you as an owner of affLIFT, but I have like few questions prior to that. I know that you've been blogging since school, so I wanted to ask you, how did you get into blogging, and was it for money? Was it for fun? Like, how did you get into this particular field as well with affiliate marketing? You had it all.
Blogging was just something that like I was interested in, because again, my whole idea, like when I was younger, was it's so cool that you can publish something and then anyone can read it, right? So when I started blogging early on, it was more like just to I remember first installing WordPress, and WordPress is awesome software. It's to this day, it's still awesome. There's haters, there's people that refuse to use WordPress, but I am a fanboy. I will forever use WordPress for my blogs. But anyway, I remember first installing it and just like publishing a post, and it's so cool that like you can publish something and anyone can read it. And so that's kind of, I when I first got my start, it was more just like experimental, trying to test it out. And then when my first blog that really took off was my LukePeerFly.com blog, and that was I was an affiliate manager for PeerFly. I started at PeerFly right after it launched. Worked as an affiliate manager. I was the first affiliate manager there, and I created the blog because I was the only affiliate manager for quite a while. And so eventually I had like right around 25,000 affiliates probably that I was managing myself. And it was a lot. We were a growing company. We were getting, 100 applications a day for new affiliates, and I just had a lot on my plate. And I realized that there was a lot of stuff that I was emailing back and forth with people, the same stuff over and over again. So I was like, why don't I create a blog post? And I can be like, hey, here's my blog post showing you exactly what I would write in an email, like, go look at the blog post, let me know if you have any questions. And it kind of grew from there. Like, that was the original idea, was I was going to publish content related to common questions I was getting, and just try to be helpful there. And then as the audience grew on the blog, I realized there's a lot of people that were reading the blog, my affiliate marketing blog, who weren't working with PeerFly. So then it was like, okay, well, I can create content that's not specific to PeerFly. It's, you know, the industry in general. And I kind of grew it around that. And then I started building a mailing list from the blog, and it kind of just all took off and snowballed from there. But yeah, originally didn't have anything to do with money. I did add banners to the blog just to see if I could make any money, and it did pretty well, actually. And then I did like a couple of sponsored posts and stuff like that, and, you know, kind of grew it, but it wasn't necessarily my goal when I started. It was just kind of like, this was the opportunity that arose. And like, when I first started, I didn't know anything about SEO, or, you know, how to publish the blog post so that it would do well in the search engines and all this other stuff. But, you know, as it grew and I learned those things, you know, I was always trying to learn something new about, you know, how I could improve it. And the mailing list that I built for my blog is actually what I used to launch affLIFT. So there's a lot of overlap between like when I first started and where I am now. I give the blog a lot of credit. I'm glad I did it. I remember I was at my mom's house in her living room when I published my first blog post. So I still remember that. And it was called Hello World. And it was like, basically, I don't know if anyone's ever going to read this, but let's see how it goes.
Was it for affLIFT or for the first blog?
No, the first blog post was
the first blog
the first blog post.
Got it.
affLIFT was a completely different monster when I decided to launch that, as far as the first content goes.
Just before this, you mentioned that you was working at the time for PeerFly. How did you get this job, and what it opened for you, beside that you are now an owner of the affLIFT?
So I worked for the first affiliate network I talked about earlier. I worked for them through high school, and then when I went to college, I was like, okay, I wanted to focus on school. I didn't want to be answering phone calls at, you know, midnight or whatever, or during class, or answering emails. Like, I wanted to be able to focus on school when I went to college. I'm the first person from my family to go to college, and I wanted to set myself up for success. And I had some scholarship money and stuff, so I wasn't necessarily I didn't need to make the money at the time. So I kind of quit on good terms with Kevin and that affiliate network. And then fast forward to my like sophomore year of college, about halfway through my sophomore year, I was like, okay, well, next year I got to get an apartment. I'm running out of money. And so I reached out to Kevin and the guys at the affiliate network that I first worked with, and they brought me back, and I worked remote for them for I don't remember how long that time, maybe 6 months, 8 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got, while I was working for them, I got introduced to Chad, the owner. There's my dog in the background. Sorry. I got introduced to Chad. Yeah, she's pretty. I got introduced to Chad, the owner of PeerFly. And this was right after he launched the network. When you first launch an affiliate network, like, companies are kind of scared to work with you. Like, they aren't sure if they can trust you. So what a lot of the networks will do is exactly what Chad did, and he reached out to the affiliate network I worked for to see if he could run our offers. So like, basically they broker the offers. And so I was his affiliate manager, and through the other company, and that's how I got introduced to him. I met him at a conference in San Francisco. Real nice guy. And kind of like, as our relationship grew, I could tell that I really liked what PeerFly was doing. It was they had built their own platform for their affiliate network. Chad had programmed the platform. As a former programmer, I was like, this is very cool. Nobody really had a custom platform at that time. And so I said, you know, hey, Chad, you know, when you're at the position where you can hire an affiliate manager, because at the time he was the affiliate manager and the owner of PeerFly, you know, let me know. I would like to work for you. And so a few months after that, towards the end of my sophomore year, Chad reached out, said he was ready. You know, he thought he had enough money that he could hire somebody like me to be his affiliate manager. And I quit with the previous affiliate network and started working for PeerFly. And I was the fourth employee at PeerFly.
And the first one, affiliate manager, besides the owner.
Besides owner, yeah. I was the first like official affiliate manager. And yep,
Wasn't
that's
it really scary for you moving from the company that you've been working for quite a couple of time, quite a time, I mean,
yeah.
and I guess there were like a stable job with some kind of stable earnings and everything, and you're just moving to a company with only 4 employees when you are the first one on the position that you're starting. Wasn't it really scary at the time? I understand you were young, but I
Yeah,
mean, still
it
some
was
responsibilities.
it. So yes, I was young at the time. I did not have a lot of responsibility. I was going to school, but I was also paying for my school, so I needed some money. But I was in a pretty good position in my life at that point where I could take that risk. Today I don't think I could do that. Like I have too much responsibility here. I have 2 kids and everything else. Like I don't think I would take that risk now, unless I guess I shouldn't say that. Depend on the opportunity, but what I did then, I would not do now for sure. So yes, it was scary, but it was also very exciting. Like working for a startup is really cool. Like there is nothing like working for a brand new startup. Like the energy that's there, because I mean, PeerFly had been around, 9, 10 months at this point. But I mean, it was very much still a startup. Like Chad programmed the admin for the PeerFly, like the actual admin we ended up using, because there was no real admin prior to that. Like it's kind of, there was no administration tools built into the platform that he had created really until after he hired me. So yes, it was exciting. It was a little scary, but it was more exciting at that time for me that I remember than scary. And at this time, I was doing affiliate marketing on the side, and I had a little bit of supplemental income and stuff like that. So I wasn't too concerned about the finances of it. I was more concerned about just helping the company grow so that I could make
Sounds
money
good.
from it.
And how long did you work there?
I worked for PeerFly from that point. I think that was like October of 2009 until PeerFly shut down in July of 2018. I want to say, so like 9 years.
Whoa.
I worked for PeerFly throughout my college career. We grew the network, and right before I was going to graduate in May of 2011, Chad asked if I would be interested in moving to Florida after I graduated and opening the first PeerFly office. So at the time there was maybe 6 employees, 6 or 7 employees, I think, but we were all remote. And Chad lived in Florida. A couple of the other guys, except for one, also lived in Florida near him. So he wanted to open an office in Florida, and I graduated in May of 2011, and I got married in July of 2011, and then I moved my wife and I to Florida 1 week after we got married. It was a hectic time.
That was really busy summer, I can say.
At the time, so PeerFly was growing pretty significantly at the time, and I probably had 30, 40, 50,000 affiliates. I had like 1,200 emails when I got to Florida because I had taken like the week off to move and get married and move and all the stuff I had going on. I had 1,200 emails I had to reply to. I remember it was crazy.
Yeah, sounds really crazy. And
Yes.
how did it happen that you came up with the idea of affLIFT, and just what you started from? When did you get this idea? And again, the question is, was it about like money? Was it switching the career? Was it about the experience? What was your main goal to actually start this?
With affLIFT, it was more just I saw an opportunity. There was a clear gap in the market, and that's kind of like I'm an affiliate, I'm a marketer. At the time, I wasn't really a business guy. Like I didn't know anything about running a business, but I could see the gap in the market, and there were free forums. So there were forums that didn't cost anything to join. There were quite a few of those in the affiliate space or semi, in the make money online space. And I was a part of them, and I promoted PeerFly on them, and I participated in the communities. But I would say that the level of content on those forums was not what I thought it could be. And then there were like the paid forums and the gurus. So then there's the super expensive, pretty much all of them were super expensive paid forums, premium forums. or you could hire like a guru to help you, and that was all super expensive. Like there was a gap. It was free or super expensive. So I was like, this is an interesting opportunity. What if I created my own premium forum, but at an affordable price? If I at this time I had a SaaS product, I had a social media marketing tool that I had developed. So I had experience with like recurring revenue, and I said, you know what, if I charge a lower amount, I think that the members will stick around longer. So, instead of paying me $99 a month for 3 months, they'll pay me $20 a month for maybe, 3 years. So that was kind of the idea. I was like, there's a gap in the market. I had a sizable affiliate audience at the time because I had my blog, I had my newsletter, I had PeerFly, I had a lot of good relationships. So it seemed like this would be an interesting opportunity. It wasn't something that I like went into thinking, okay, I need this to make a ton of money. That's never been the idea with affLIFT. Like the idea was, if I can get this so that it pays for itself. That originally that was my goal. It was like, okay, if I can pay for the servers, if I can pay for the software, I'll be happy. Like whatever. It doesn't, at the time, it didn't need to make money for me. I had a full-time job in another company, a full-time job and another company that I was running with my social media marketing tool. So it was like, this is, financially I was fine. I was just like, I'm going to do this. Let's see what happens. We'll create a community for the industry, and try to. I had a few other like goals, but they weren't necessarily like, right away this needs to happen. It was like, long term, if I can create a culture where people are helping each other, people are friendly, we get the egos out of the way. Our industry has matured quite a bit. For a long time, it was like everybody had a massive ego, especially the people making a little bit of money. The people making a lot of money, they're out of this world insane. But even the people making a little bit of money, like their egos were so big, and it always just bothered me. Like I was just like, it's never been my thing. Like I feel like it's important to stay grounded and humble, because like you don't know. Like yeah, it's cool that you're making money now, but tomorrow you might not be making anything, and if you're being a jerk about it, then nobody's going to work with you. So I wanted to create a sustainable community, a sustainable platform where it could be, the entire industry could join and participate in conversations that were a little higher level than what you were seeing on the free forums, and you'd be able to get the information that were available from the gurus and the paid forums at a much lower and more affordable cost. Because I know, as an affiliate manager, I've worked with tens of thousands of affiliates who are new to the industry, and they do not have the budget to spend $99 a month, even if it has great information. I mean, you have a lot of other investments that you have to make. You have to buy a tracker. You have to have funding for your traffic source. You have, there's a lot of other stuff. So I didn't want it so that people would have to decide, okay, can I run this campaign or should I pay for the forum? Like, no, like pay for the forum and run the campaign. So that was my concept with affLIFT. It was going to be an affiliate, premium affiliate marketing forum at an affordable level, and I've been able to maintain it. It's been lucky. We had a great launch. I had the mailing list, I had the blog. I had hardly any content on the forum when I launched it. That was that was probably one of the harder things, was knowing, like, so when I launched affLIFT, I had created some guides on the forum. I had given maybe a couple of people early access, but I don't even know if that's true, honestly. Like maybe like 1 or 2 people early access to like make a post, but I launched it for everybody else at the same time. And I was asking people for $20 a month for access to a couple of posts, and with the promise that I was going to dedicate time to it and try to build up the community. And I got so much support, it was crazy. Like,
But at the beginning, were you just alone, or was some kind of like partner with you, or is it just like your personal idea and you are the only owner?
I'm the only owner. I'm still the only owner of affLIFT, but I was like literally the only person. Like I
Who was
had
working on that?
okay, early access. I did the PeerFly people. So I had affiliate managers that worked for me, and then I had our other team at PeerFly. Outside of the affiliate management, like biz dev and stuff like that. I gave those guys all accounts so they could take a look and give me feedback. And we kind of used it as a way to try to communicate some stuff with our publishers. But obviously you can't do that if you're expecting them to pay, because not everybody's going to do it. But no, I mean, it was basically, I give credit to the PeerFly team. Like they were a big help. They the entire time that I worked for PeerFly, the support that I got from not only Chad, the owner, but the other minority stakeholders and employees was just incredible. Like, we had a great culture at that company. It's too bad it didn't work out, but I feel like a lot of the culture that we had at PeerFly, I've kind of adapted to the forum, or I've at least tried to adapt to the forum, so that we can replicate that and other people can feel that way as I felt. But yeah, when I launched, I wanted to pay for the server, and I remember the first lifetime membership came in and it was like $350, and I was like, well, this is enough money to pay for the server for like the year, so that is a solid start, and then it
Well,
kind of
working, yeah.
snowballed from there.
And as I understand, you were using the base that you did have from your previous blog to find like new members, right?
Right. Yeah. I use the blog and my mailing list as like the launching point, which if you're listening to this and you're thinking about starting a business, a blog and a mailing list are your 1-2 punch. Like, I mean, I've made millions of dollars just from my mailing list that I had on my blog. Like, it's you can't overestimate how much value there is in an email list, a targeted email list that is actually engaged. Like I said, I launched the blog with hardly, or I'm sorry, not the blog. I launched affLIFT with hardly any content. I had some good guides from some campaigns I was running, but the support that I received was because the reason that people paid wasn't necessarily because I had the guides on the forum. It was because I'd already been contributing to these people's educations through my blog, through my mailing list, trying to be helpful to them in this exact same space. So when I launched the forum, they're like, oh, it's a no-brainer, $20, I'll sign up, or $350 for a lifetime membership, I'll sign up. And I'm certain that there's probably 100 people that paid me $20 a month for the past almost 5 years now that have hardly ever logged in, but they just did it to help support the project.
Okay, I understand. And if we're talking about like right now, what is affLIFT right now? Do you see that it's more about experienced users? I mean, are your communities more experienced, or do you see lots of newbies coming? Because as you said, the cost of your subscriptions is kind of of a lower side. So I think
Yeah.
it's affordable for newbies and they can like check all this information. So what do you see in a percentage where how it's located? I mean,
Yeah, I think low price has definitely benefited as far as like helping bring in newbies and getting people who would not be able to invest the money, especially from, I don't want to say tier 3 countries, but that's exactly what it is. It's, lower income people are able to join and learn about what affiliate marketing is and how to do it. So we definitely get newbies and people with not massive budgets. I think so that's been beneficial there, but I think the lower price point has discouraged other people who could afford, the $99 a month or whatever, from joining, because they think they have this perception that, oh, it's only $20 a month. There must not be anything on it, right? Like,
that
it's only
valuable, yeah.
$20. What am I going to get for $20? And I've actually had discussions with people about it and other business owners and stuff like that. Like, your price point definitely can reflect the type of person that you get to buy your product. But I refuse to increase the price because of that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I understand it. I do understand the perceived, the perceived value that you get from it because the price point is low. Luckily, we've had enough people join and we've been able to build a solid brand over the past 5 years that now it's like people know, oh, affLIFT's cheap, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. There's a lot of value in the community. I would
But
say,
this is also about the ego that you were talking about, that you want to like switch the perception of this specific industry from these like eager people. And when we're talking about that, they think that it's too cheap, so it's not worth to go in there. It's kind of
yes,
same thing. So yeah.
it's a tough thing because I understand it too. Like, I've never wanted to buy a Lamborghini, but like everybody in the industry, like especially early on, like that's the goal. Like, everybody's like, if I had Lamborghini money, I'm set. And you go to the conferences and you meet with people that are just, they got, a $50,000 watch on, and it's just like, that's awesome, but like, don't be a jerk. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But we've been lucky. So like I said, we've built a great brand. We've built a great reputation for affLIFT, and so we get a ton of newbies. A lot of, I mean, that's no doubt. that was originally the idea. Was this is an opportunity to create a platform and a community where somebody can come in and learn affiliate marketing at an affordable price. Like those newbies are going to be the core of the business. That's great, because this has been my concept this was my concept with PeerFly, was like, let's educate the newbies, because over the lifespan of an affiliate, like, they're going to make, if they start with us early, they're going to continue to make money with us for a long time. The super affiliate was a newbie at one point, and there's a big gap with a ton of money between those 2 points. And they're a super affiliate, for only a certain amount of time before they start their own business or move on to something else. Whereas they're a newbie for a lot longer, a newbie and an intermediate level affiliate. So we have, I would say probably affLIFT is probably like 70% newbies, 20% intermediate, and like 10% advanced super affiliate or whatever. Typically I try to hire the super affiliates. Not necessarily all of them, but the people that join the forum, that prove that they have good communication skills and they know what they're talking about, and they fall within the culture that I'm trying to create. Those are the people that I try to reach out to about becoming like a paid community leader in the forum, where they're contributing content, helping members and stuff like that.
Okay, I understand. And just a quick question about the employees process. Do you need to be a community? Do you need to be in a community to actually work for you, or is it possible just to apply? I don't know, to write you in the messenger or something and be employed to affLIFT?
No, so I started hiring community leaders. Oh, geez. Probably 4 years ago. It's like probably a year after I launched the forum, when it had made enough money where I was like, okay, I was comfortable hiring somebody else. Like, okay, I'm going to hire somebody and hopefully be able to pay them in the future. So it needed to make money. So for like the first year, I was all by myself creating content. There were members that were creating content, but they weren't paid members. So then I hired my first community leader, and I think now we have 7 or 8 community leaders. They're all people from the community. So I only hire members of affLIFT to become a community leader. I've never hired outside of the community. The whole idea is, if you're going to contribute good content, like, those are the people that I want to hire. I don't want to look somewhere else and then hope that they do a good job. I would rather pay the people that are supporting the community. So yeah, we've hired, I think it's embarrassing, I don't know, but I think 7 or 8. It's definitely 7 or 8, but I don't know which number is right. Because recently we hired another guy, dude. Like within the past 2 months, we hired another community leader, and he's been doing awesome. But I think he was number 8. But yeah, so I hired directly from the community. I don't hire outside the community, and it's not something where you can apply or anything like that. It's like, if you're being active and you're contributing and being helpful, and we have a position open up, that's who I'm going to hire. I talk to the other community leaders, and we kind of vote on it, and then we bring them in.
Okay, and is it like a full-time job, or is it a part-time job to work in affLIFT?
It's a part-time job. I am the only full-time employee of affLIFT. I work under this concept of company of one. So I have 2 companies, and I'm the only full-time employee for both of them. Everybody else is like a contractor, like a self-employed contractor. And that's primarily just so that financially the business can be sustained. Like, I've seen where you hire too many people, you spend too much money, and then all of a sudden you're trying to get credit, or you're hurting your business. So no, they're all part-time employees who work for affLIFT. Essentially, I hope when I hire somebody to be a community leader, that what they'll do is what they were already doing. I want people that were already active on the forum. The idea is then they'll create more content and be more helpful, and builds loyalty. And as a community leader, obviously there's other benefits too. Like, a lot of the traffic sources and affiliate networks in the industry want to work with the community leaders because they're a community leader on affLIFT. So there's fringe benefits to that. And that was also somewhat intentional. When I worked for PeerFly and launched my blog and became Luke PeerFly, I built a lot of brand equity for PeerFly as an individual. Granted, I was a full-time employee, but what I was doing on the side was creating a lot of value for the company. So I thought, okay, well, if I start building this team of community leaders, like it'll be beneficial for the community, it'll be beneficial for the business, and then also hopefully it'll be beneficial for them. Like they'll be able to, you know, make money on the side or build a good reputation for what they're doing with the community.
Okay, so I understand this is kind of they are building their own reputation that they can later on monetize if they want to earn more money. So yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds completely fair.
yeah.
And as a owner of the forum, what is your typical day looks like?
So I use this software called Todoist. I started using it when I worked for PeerFly, and I've used it ever since. And it's kind of like I don't know what I would do without it. So Todoist is a to-do list software tool where you can create recurring tasks, and basically I use it to create systems. So my day typically with affLIFT starts with going through my email, going through my private messages. I get a ton of messages on the forum, which is cool, but it takes a lot of time to respond. So I go through those, and then do business stuff. Checking on reports and boring stuff, and then typically I go through the forum. Work with my community leaders, chat with them throughout the day, try to figure out, what content we're going to work on, what we're going to produce. I check my own campaigns, obviously, to make sure that like everything's going okay there. I do a lot of advertising for affLIFT, so I run like Google ads for the business. So I maintain those. Things like that. But basically, I do whatever my Todoist tells me to do. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have tasks, and every Tuesday, Thursday, I have tasks. So that's kind of how my system is set up. My Tuesday, Thursday is a little different than my Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and yeah. So that I spend my morning working on affLIFT, and then I typically spend my afternoon, early afternoon, working on my other business, and then usually call it a day.
Sounds busy. Sounds really busy. Okay, so let's talk about the money and forum that you have, because I think everyone wants to know how much can you actually make on owning the forum. So how did the situation with your earnings change from the time that you was working at PeerFly and now that you own your own business and you're the owner? Did you had it like tripled or doubled? Do you see yourself as a really successful in the terms of the growth of your earnings?
So when PeerFly shut down, it was kind of out of the blue. I had somewhat of an idea within a couple weeks leading up to it, but it wasn't necessarily something that was planned. And I launched affLIFT probably about a year before PeerFly shut down. I want to say it was a little over a year before PeerFly shut down. It was not connected at all. Like the affLIFT launch was actually terrible timing. I launched affLIFT 1 month before my daughter was born. I do not recommend doing that. That was a mistake. I mean, it worked out fine, and my daughter's great. But launching a new business prior to something like a childbirth was not a good. The timing, going back, I would change that probably. I would launch probably 6 months earlier or 6 months later. But yeah, when
Why
PeerFly
so?
shut. Why so? Well,
Yeah,
so I
I mean,
launched.
you understand. I understand you were really, really busy during this period of time, but you kind of should have expected that, or you were thinking that you will
Yes.
be able to manage both.
The embarrassing thing is this was my second daughter, so I already had experience with this. It wasn't something I didn't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Looking back, it's like I think I was just excited about launching it, that I was like, this will be fine. Or maybe it was that the amount of time that I had to dedicate, especially early on to affLIFT, to getting content up so that people would maintain their memberships. Maybe that was more work than I had expected. But yeah, I launched it, and like we've already discussed, like I launched it with hardly any content on the forum. So I was asking people to pay me for access to this limited content that I had, and obviously the membership was low too. Like I launched and had a couple hundred members within a couple weeks, but like that's not a lot of people, really, big picture. So it was me trying to do as much as content-wise, trying to do as much as possible, and then having a kid like right at the like peak of that, I guess you would say. It threw me off. Like I was I was not super active. There's like one old thread, I should look it up, where somebody was like complaining that like I was inactive, and I like explained the situation, and it's like trying, I'm like, I'm sorry, like this was definitely a mistake on my part as far as when I launched this, and I'm going to do my best to make up for it, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. Like I got a screaming, newborn. So, and
So
my
you
daughter did not.
almost killed the project. You almost killed affLIFT even before it's started. So how did you fix this situation?
Well, I think if I didn't have the support that I had as far as the members who were, they understood not only my situation, but that I was the type of person that I was going to go back and try to make up for lost time, sort of thing. Um, I think I probably would have killed the project. I think if I didn't have the support of the people from my mailing list and from the industry that I've worked so hard in for so long to help people, I mean, the business probably would have died. I don't know. We did see, I mean, there was a massive decrease within those first few months, like memberships, that the churn, the amount of people that canceled was way higher than I've ever seen since. Understandably, I messed that up. But I was able to, we rebounded. Um, so yeah, the early start, the launch was great. The early start was a little rough for affLIFT. I had a full-time job at the time, and I had another business that was doing really well, and so it wasn't necessarily like a terrible thing, but for me financially, but it was a rough start. After that, things got better. I kept building content. I was running campaigns that were doing well, so I had some great content for the forum. Membership started to pick up where other members were contributing, and so things started to pick up. And then PeerFly shutting down. When PeerFly shut down, I knew right away, like, okay, I'm not going to try to find another job. I'm very blessed. Like I had so many people reach out and offer me a job. Like I could have worked multiple jobs if I wanted to, after PeerFly shut down. But I decided, no, I want to try this, myself. I'm going to go full time, and this is what I'm going to do. My other business is called FB Traffic. With FB Traffic, I knew like I had a stable base. I'd been running that business for like 7 years. It had significant recurring monthly revenue. So I knew that would be okay, and it would be enough to sustain me for a while I built affLIFT. Because at the time, affLIFT probably still wasn't making enough money where I could have just done that full time. So I said, okay, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to run these two businesses. This is what I'm going to do full time. I have to figure out health insurance. Like, I was a full time employee my whole professional life, once I got married. So, health insurance and stuff like that was never really a problem. But once I had to go full time, it was time to start thinking about those things. So yeah, I remember I made it a tweet, like I had to figure out how to do accounting because I'd never done my own accounting. And the accounting that I had done for my other businesses I was getting taxed so hard because I wasn't doing it right and all this other stuff. So I was like, all right, I need to figure out accounting and bookkeeping. I need to figure out how to do health insurance and pay my wages and all that, because I'm a full-time employee of myself now. And there was one other thing, but anyway, I went into it, figured out, all those things, and just kind of persisted. And yeah, ever since then, like, I've been lucky. I've worked real hard on it, but I've also been extremely lucky that, the community has done well. We've gotten massive support from the industry. Like you guys have been members forever. And, I've gone to conferences and met with a lot of company, including Rich Ads. And we've just been able to create I've been able to create a lot of good relationships that have been very beneficial for affLIFT, for the community, and obviously for myself financially. So yeah, I would say like right after PeerFly shut down, my income decreased significantly because I lost a full-time income. But since then, it's probably doubled or tripled, uh, because of affLIFT primarily. I mean, my other business is still doing okay, but affLIFT is done extremely well over the past few years.
Have you earned your first million on affLIFT already, or are you still going through this number?
I don't typically disclose that type of financial. I've made $1 million off affLIFT. I'll say that though.
That sounds great. This is like the only thing that we needed to know. Okay, and also
Right.
I wanted to know what are your plans for 2023? What are you planning to do in terms of, I don't know, maybe a numbers of your community members, and what are your goal for the end of 2023?
Sure. So I track our competition closely. Like since I launched affLIFT, the competition has decreased. Honestly, we've seen multiple forums kind of shut down. We've seen other ones that were acquired and they've kind of died. So we've been lucky in that aspect. So my goal for this year, well, we're already the most active affiliate marketing forum. Like I track activity. And if you look at our competitors, like we have twice as many posts, we have like 5 times as many new members every week. We're definitely the most active affiliate marketing forum, but my goal is to get us, we're at like 87,000 members right now or something like that. I want to get us to 100,000 registered users. I don't know if be able to do that by the end of the year, but definitely within the next year and a half. And honestly, I think within the next year and a half, we could be the largest affiliate marketing forum, at least the English speaking ones. I don't track non English speaking because we're an English speaking forum and I don't consider them competitors. But I think we will be membership wise, as far as total registered users, I think we'll probably be the biggest one within a year and a half. So we should have 100,000 members potentially by the end of this year. If not, then first or second quarter of next year. And we'll also be absolutely the largest as far as total registrations go, which is important because a big part of the business is I send out a newsletter on Tuesday and Thursday. That's a part of my Tuesday Thursday systems. I send out a newsletter to all the members, and that's what drives activity one of the things that drives activity in the forum. So the more people that are on that's kind of like a mailing list. Like I talked about how big my newsletter was to me, and at that time, I think I had like 14,000 people on my newsletter mailing list for my blog, and now affLIFT has 87,000, so it's quite a bit bigger.
Sounds great. Sounds great, and it's a great plan. And I wish you all the luck to really
Thanks.
be the biggest forum by the end of this year. And I think I have one more question. What do you think that trends will be for 2023 in terms of verticals, in terms of, I don't know, maybe traffic formats or something else?
Yeah, well, I think the trend that we've been seeing, I think, is going to continue. So we've been seeing push is still hot, like push notifications. Everybody thought they were going to die like 2 years ago, but they didn't. They're still really well. Like I said earlier, it's like my focus is push because of the performance, and with in-page push, obviously, there's a lot of extra potential because it's basically a website banner. And also the iOS iPhones are going to start having web-based push notifications too. With this, actually, it's the most recent iOS update was supposed to be this week, I believe, and that will include native push potentially for advertisers to use too. So I think push is going to continue to grow. Pops will always be pops. We're going to see more native though. There's been a lot of interest in native on affLIFT, and we've seen some members have tremendous success. Varun, one of our community leaders, he said last month he did like $240,000 in revenue. So him talking about native, we have another member that's doing really well in native. I think for affLIFT that we're going to continue to see more and more people focus on native just because of the massive amount of money that people are making. Well, it'll create more competition, but there's a lot of traffic there. And then as far as bidding goes, I think the algorithms, we talked about the algorithms earlier. A few years ago, there were just a couple of traffic sources with the CPA algorithms, and now it seems like more and more prevalent. And the performance of the algorithm seems to be getting better. I mentioned that your Target CPA is working really well at Rich Ads for me, and I've seen that from other members too. So I think that the algorithm bidding is going to continue to improve, and that's going to be beneficial for everybody for sure. Probably will create more competition, but I think there'll be new opportunities. Vertical wise, I'm going to focus on dating. I like dating, but I think the typical sweeps and surveys and those types of offers will continue to see a lot of traffic on those. there's too much potential for those to go away, and there's too much traffic that works with them. So those will still be hot. And then if native really does continue to grow the way I think it's going to grow, then we'll see more of those types of products that are promoted on native to grow in our industry, like skincare stuff and the higher end products that $125 CPAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally agree on native because we are just started with native traffic ourselves. So that's something that we're also looking for in on these updates from iOS side, that they will allow push notification. This is something that I think all the market is waiting for, and we want to see how it will perform, because of course this is interesting how it will turn out. Okay, so thank you so much for answering these questions, and just in general, I think that it's all for today. And thank you so much, Luke, for joining us. Thank you for all the answers to your questions. I think it was really interesting for everyone, for our viewers, to know your story, to know how it's all started. You have a really interesting life with really interesting experience behind you, and I'm sure you will have a lot of cool stuff in front of you. So thank you so much for joining us today.
I really appreciate it. I've been lucky. Like this industry has been so good to me. But I'm not special. Like anybody's gonna be able to do what I did. There's nothing that I've done that somebody else couldn't do. So yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to share my story, and I hope it encourages other people to give it a try. I'm an open book, so if you have any questions, my email is luke@afflift.com. Send me an email or send me a message on affLIFT, and I'll be happy to answer your question. Like I said, I check my email all the time. So
yeah, that's true. So again, thank you so much. Thanks to all our viewers who stayed till the end, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel in the description box and check our videos. We have lots of content for you that I'm sure will be helpful, and click on the bell button not to miss any of our videos, and see you really soon. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.